GoodToGo.com for a free rate quote now. That's 1-800-881-3700. There's no obligation. 1-800-881-3700.
I'm Anderson Cooper. This is CNN.
Breaking news this morning from Iraq. ISIS has launched deadly coordinated attacks in the city of Kirkulk, targeting police stations and security offices. Now, these attacks are happening as Iraqi and Kurdish forces carry out major assaults in towns surrounding Mosul, pushing forward on several fronts. CNN senior international correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh live near the front lines near Mosul. Nick, it is clear now how and where ISIS is fighting back.
Absolutely, and in Kirkuk they've decided to take the fight to a city which really isn't part of this front line around Mosul, oil-rich, where 30 militants have gone into abandoned buildings, it seems, and laid siege to a number of police stations in there. 7 of the 30 dead, we're just learning, among ISIS militants, but it really brings to the fore, I think, how bloody this assault could be. ISIS holding on very tenaciously to towns on the edge of their territory, which you may have thought they could have given up more easily, as we found on the front yesterday.
Day 4, and perhaps the biggest push yet, from the north into the plains around Mosul. Trying to dislodge the determined and deranged remnants of ISIS are the Peshmerga, backed with staggering air power. A now common sight of American special forces, who the Pentagon says are advising not assaulting, positioned in the front of the attack. The work was slow, destructive, begging the question what becomes of the wreckage under new masters. Suddenly, in the sky, a hail of bullets. They've spotted a drone. Tracer rounds dance around it and finally take off its nose. ISIS used them to spot targets for artillery, even drop small bombs. This one tumbles down. Its wreckage picked over. It's still unclear whose it is. Yet progress down the road to Horusabad is agonizingly slow.
This is the source of so much of the fighting this morning, but still full of ISIS. And in fact, we've heard the Peshmerga have listened to those militants on their radios this morning discussing how they should wait and only launch a counterattack once the Peshmerga are inside.
2 Peshmerga are killed by a mine and others injured in intense clashes when they flank the town, heading left across barren farmland. ISIS still here, haunting the dust, pushed back moments earlier. We reach one unit pinned down on a hill. They say a drone is observing them, but also dropping tiny bombs on them. Like grenades, we are warned. Rocket after rocket lands. Over the hill, there is fiercer fighting. And still, the rockets come in. Exposed, trudging through land turned arid in the fight.
The US saying they have lost a serviceman in the last 24 hours or so. Minimal details, as is normally the case in this opening 24 hours. We understand that soldier hit by an improvised explosive device, taken off the field alive but dying of their injuries. Not clear if they're involved in the Mosul offensive itself. I have to say it's likely probably that they are, and you saw in that report there a lot of American personnel pretty near the front here. The Pentagon saying they're not involved in the assault, but I have to be honest, we repeatedly see them in the opening columns that head in towards Peshmerga assaults against ISIS here. Minimal details there at this stage. This is likely to be long and bloody, though. Alison?
Nick, we just wouldn't know any of this without your reporting and without you being there with your camera. And when you say barren farmland that they are traversing and fighting across, we see it. Thanks so much for your reporting. We'll check back with you. All right, on to a much lighter note, the Chicago Cubs heading home to Wrigley on the verge of history how they took charge of the NLCS and what that even means in our Bleacher Report next.